Welcome to another weekly edition of our StaySmart newsletter and podcast, brought to you by Viciniti Corporate Housing, where we try to keep you updated on relocation, business travel, global mobility, anything that we think might be relevant to you and to your company. Coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri today. It's at the beautiful Busch Stadium with some clients to watch a Cardinals game today. It's a beautiful day for baseball. I love daytime baseball. If you would like to invite me to one of your markets to watch some daytime baseball, please let me know, send me a message, or leave a comment here. Anyways, we have some really good articles this week. The first one comes from Worldwide ERC. They put an article out today about some bans and some new regulations around short-term rentals and how that might affect the industry, the mobility industry. So recently, Dallas, Texas passed some new regulations around short-term rentals that it banned short-term rentals in single-family residential neighborhoods. And this article talks about how that's going to affect the mobility space by possibly limiting the inventory in those segments. The short-term rentals have been used by mobility as temporary housing options, in particular for large families, people with pets, where that has been a solution where maybe corporate housing hasn't had the inventory, especially in the summertime, things like that. So this article talks about how that may affect that, because in Dallas, up to 95% of short-term rentals may not be able to operate after this ban. It's interesting. I do think, though, that those operators might convert into more mid-term rentals or corporate housing-like models. So it may not have as big as an impact as this article says, but I think it'll be interesting to watch. The next article is from Richard Johnson. He gives a recap of his session at GBTA, where he talks about the well-being of business travel. It's kind of the health and wellness of business travelers. It's stressful to travel. Late night flights, being away from your family, eating unhealthy, all those things go into effect here in that session. And this article talks about travel buyers need to be aware of those things and look at those and see if there's ways to compensate or offset some of those stresses that business travelers may have, whether it's a late night flight, a long haul flight, changing time zones, being away from their family. Just looking at, I think it's a great article. It's really important to me. Something that I'll be watching through the years as more things like this hopefully are in ERC, GBTA sessions in the future. The next article is from Google Travel. They put out at their blog this week that later this week, Google Flights is going to have more insight into travel trends and hopefully more information to buy, when to buy your plane tickets. In particular, it's kind of talking about as we get closer to the holiday season. The example he gives is you're flying to Europe for Christmas, you need to be buying your tickets 72 days out. So it'll be interesting to watch. Again, if you're going to London for Christmas, definitely check this article out. But I think it's a good article. I think it'll be interesting to see what Google Flights can do. Then the next article is from the New York Times, talking about self-driving cars. San Francisco has been testing this for a while, but it's rolled out now in San Francisco to some extent. Austin and Phoenix to a smaller extent, we're seeing testing there. But right now in San Francisco, you can hail a self-driving taxi. Interesting experience. I think it's an interesting article because, the article points out there's a ways to go still with these self-driving taxis. I think this is coming. I think I read another article where another 12 or 14 markets are going to be rolling out testing this year. So I think it's something to keep an eye on because, maybe in a year or two, you're going to be hailing a self-driving taxi versus an Uber. Maybe Uber starts launching their self-driving taxis. So it's definitely something to watch for the next couple of years. And then lastly, there's an article from St. Louis Dispatch about a historic hotel here in St. Louis that is going to get a remodel and a rebrand. What's interesting about this, though, is this hotel has apartments in it right now, and the rebrand looks like it's going to be a Sheraton hotel, is going to keep those apartments in it. And Marriott has talked about bringing their Marriott Apartments serviced apartment brand to the U.S. And I don't know if this is, their foray into that or not, but I think it'll be fun to watch if there's other developments like this where it's a mix of hotel and apartments or service apartments. So I think it'll be something I'll particularly keep an eye out when I travel here to St. Louis. So that's what I see transitioning this week. Love to hear questions from you, comments from you, anything that you would like to hear us talk about, please put it in the comments section. you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Again, that's what I see transitioning this week. Take care, everyone.